Today we wanted to talk about basically housing bubble. Stay tuned with our channel because we wanted to cover many things for you.
Okay, but first let's hit it. Hi, this is Alan Victoria. Welcome to our channel.
And if this is your first time in our channel and you wanted to know everything about Greenville, North Carolina, please subscribe in our channel, get notified when we put the new videos, gives us thumbs up, and support our channel.
Honestly, we get calls, texts, and emails all the time for people looking to move, shift, relocate, upsize, downsize here in Greenville, in the surrounding area, and we love helping people. It's what we signed up to do. We love looking at homes, and we love helping people. So please give us a call. Okay, so let's now hit it, right? Let's talk
What is the definition of the housing bubble?
Okay, so a housing bubble is typically fueled by speculation, which is exorbitant spending to the point of collapse. And a lot of people are going to blame, well, I'm going to get to it later, but in 2008, a lot of people will blame these low credit people, but that's not true, and we're going to get into that soon. But let's talk about the demographics, interest rates.
And so before, my wife is very fast. He wanted to jump everything. Before that, we wanted to say itemize four things that affect the housing market, and also talking about related to our bubble. The first thing that we wanted to talk about basically is demographics, which helps with the demand and supply. And what we have in demographics, basically we have population growth, we have income, we have age, gender, and even migration. The people that move into United States.
Right, so all of that is going to affect our demand for buyers. What another thing that's going to affect
Number
demand?
2 that we wanted to talk, and we have another video about it in January 2022, interest rate, is interest rate and how this affects the housing market.
Power. Right, and don't forget, we're going to talk a little bit about supply, but all of this where supply and demand meet gives us our next topic, which is?
The third one is basically real estate prices. No?
And then the fourth thing we're going to talk about is things that can shift it. So government policy, legislation, tax incentives, deductions. And then at last, we're going to give you our predictions. So Now with that, let's go into our number one, which is demographics. Because demographics give us our future buyers. What are our demographics?
Therefore, the future buyers, who are the future buyers? Therefore, we should look at the net population of the U.S. And we just started from 2000 to just having the 21st century to 2022. And what was the numbers?
In 2000, it was 282.2 million people. In 2022, it was 332.4 million people, which means, what is the number difference?
Well, the number was 50.2 million.
So that is going to affect demand. Now, yes, during the pandemic and slightly after, we've had slow growth of immigration and our birth decline, just population birth decline in general. However, our numbers are still on the increase in general. So I just want to kind of point that out. So let's talk about specifically about North Carolina.
Now we're going to talk about North Carolina, where we are located. North Carolina, the population in 2000, how much was in 2000?
7.75 million people. And in 2022?
It was 10.7 million. That we see 1.21% increase respect to the previous year, 2021.
Right, and we know that there's a lot of people just moving to North Carolina right now, every second of every day. Why? Our weather is amazing. We have a nice cost of living. We're literally going to get our first day of snow maybe this week. Our kids are so excited, but we're going to get into that a little later. Let's talk more about the demographics.
Therefore, if you wanted to summarize it, population between 2019 to 2021 in the in the U.S. Increased by 1.43%. How about the North Carolina?
That would be 2.33%. So we have had a larger increase in North Carolina in these past 2 years, but we were always on those top 10 lists of where to move. And that's why, because our weather is great. Let's also talk about immigration, because immigration actually also affects our demographics. Yes. How many immigration in what numbers we going with 2000?
Therefore, in 2000, we had 31.1 million immigration to U.S. And in
2021, we had 46.2 million. So, which is a U.S. population is gone up to 13.9%. Now, what about Pitt County?
In Pitt County,
which is local here in Greenville,
specifically was 4.8%. the immigration population.
Right. So just to give you some Pitt County information, in 2000, the total population of immigrants were at 168.2 thousand people. And in 2020, the number was 170.2 thousand people. So what is the change?
It change was more than 1.2% of the change, increasing, of course.
Okay, so this means that we now have a growth of population in general. All of these population growth means that there's more buyers out there, so demand is shifting. What about income? Because income also affects what people can buy.
Therefore, income in 2000 in the U.S., it was 63,300 per household.
Mm-hmm. What about in 2019, before the pandemic?
And before the pandemic went 69.6, went up.
And during the pandemic in 2020?
Because of lots of unemployment, this number went down to 67,500.
And I have to say, we could not get an accurate number for 2021 yet, but we will, and stay tuned for our future video on that when we actually get those numbers, because we're excited. What about here in Pitt County?
Therefore, in North Carolina, Pitt County in 2000, we had 27,500 in 2000. What about the 2020?
In 2019, we did not get 2020. 2019, it was 47,800. So 4,700, 500, 800. So that means that we had a general increase here in North Carolina and Pitt County specifically. What about the population?
Well, the population we talked about already.
Okay.
Now we wanted to hit the second in the list, which is the interest rate.
Okay, before we get into interest rate, I just want to quickly say interest rates affect the demand line, not the supply line, the demand line, because that's how much purchasing power you have. We have a whole video on it up there on purchasing power. So say your budget is, I don't know, $2,000 of what you can pay. But if the higher the interest rate, the less of a house. The lower the interest rate, the more house you get for your $2,000 for what I'm saying. So I just want to kind of say lower interest rates means more house. Higher interest rate, smaller house. So just so we're clear on basic numbers
Therefore,
here.
lower cost of the mortgage basically drives up the price.
Right, and then you should renting versus owning. And this is a major hot topic because more people are now renting than ever before instead of owning. So this is something, and it's just going to affect the demand line. And I want to kind of quickly give you some history. I was a government economics teacher. I love giving history, and I'm going to also, again, not blame people of the 2008 crash. Why? I'm going to go into it. In 1980, Ronald Reagan was elected president not because he promised to do anything spectacular except lower those interest rates. In the 70s, we had a crazy high of 15% interest rates. This was too high, which means people were avoiding jobs, avoiding getting married, avoiding buying a home, avoiding having families, and it was just a general population problem. So Ronald Reagan got elected seriously for he promised people could get married again, people could own a house again, and these were basically his general promises and is what he tried to accomplish. And one of the things he did about it was lower the interest rate so people could buy homes. Bush Sr. did the same thing. Clinton understood this. He also had policy to drive the American ownership. Bush Jr. definitely had it, and Bush Jr.'s policies, they are going to, the American Dreams Act means that we are now going to allow mortgage to give more people homes. However, I'm going to blame the 2008 crash not on poor people who had bad credit. I'm going to blame it on bankers, and bankers who gave people loans that they shouldn't have given because they were just not doing their paperwork, and they were saying everybody's going to get a house, and even if they can't afford it. And instead of keeping people in houses at a fixed rate, they gave everybody an arm rate. And 2008 was a big mess where it couldn't be sustained because you can't just give away homes that people can't afford. And this is what banks were doing. So I don't blame people. I totally blame these corporations who took advantage of the Dreams Act, which then causes our 2008 crash. And we have a video on that, I think, don't we?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Then we have Obama, Trump, I know. And then we have Biden. And all of these people, again, understood that real estate means that how much people will have a family, what you can afford. And if you're in a home, you feel more secure. And fixed rates are a great thing. So I just want to quickly throw that in there. Let's move on.
Therefore, all the things that my wife talked about, economy and history, comes to this point, demand and supply. And we wanted
Those are
to
all
say...
supply, demand, not supply.
Demand, yeah.
Supply is going to be what is supply?
The new construction, no?
New construction. What happened in new construction because of 2008?
Well, basically they went down.
Right, so it went down. And then what's happening even now, though? What's another supply factor? What's happening to our garage doors?
Well, we have also a shortage of all the supply that we have issue right now, even the labor.
Right, garage, windows, doors. It's not houses itself. It's not just wood. So I just want to kind of throw that out there. There is a supply issues as well, which then brings us to where supply and demand meet, which is?
Well, demand, we wanted to talk about basically the home ownership and renting. We put all this thing to tell you that if the ownership versus the rent changes the percentage, then we are talking about the demand, and that's going to affect the price.
Okay, so
for example, in 2000, if we put, because we gave you a statistics all in 2000, this was 61.1%
for what?
the ownership.
Ownership.
And the rest basically was the rentals, no?
Right.
And then through the basically economy crash in 2008, and we went there. What happened there?
2008. What are we talking about? The national averages of 20. What happened is it went to a low. It went to an all-time low of ownership because people had lost their homes. 2019, we started going up. We hit what were we at the high?
We had it 69.1%, and during 2020 we went down. And
there was supply issues and then demand issues because people.
And again in 2021 we went down even 2.5%. That we got to the 65.4%.
Right, and I'm going to give some ownership versus rental. So ownership is down, as I said, rental is up. Let me go into numbers about that real quick. For a one bedroom in all 50 states, the one bedroom's rent went up 21.3% between 20 and 21. Two bedrooms went up to 16.7%. What about here in North Carolina?
In North Carolina, average rent in 2020 was $11.20
for one bedroom.
And for one bedroom, and 2021 went to $13.40, which means 19.65% of the increase.
Right, and then that's just crazy. And we're going to just compare that to North Carolina to other states real quickly. Virginia, 18.24% increase. South Carolina, 26.37% increase. Down there in Florida, you have the craziest numbers of 39.84% rental increase on a one bedroom. So we do have rent is going up. Rent is going up very high in some places here, everywhere. And then we also have home ownership is low because we do not have enough supply.
Therefore, what was the Greenville basically rent?
Greenville itself was $775 for a one bedroom, and that went to $873.
How much was gross for that?
I don't know. 12.65?
She said she didn't know, but it's 12.65%.
Yay! I did remember. Okay, so also in Pitt County, we have 52.83% ownership and then 47.17% renter. So we are better than the national average. Yay, and we want to keep it that way.
We are better than national average? No, we are not. We are lower than national average.
Oh, shoot. I can't math.
Therefore, we are almost in the 50-50, means we have a lot of renters in the Pitt County.
Right, and getting you into a home is something that we would love to help you with. Again, we do have the supply issues that we talked about. We are at the National Association of Realtors with new construction says that we are 5.5 million units short over the past 30 years from where we should be. In January 2000, before all the crashes and everything, we were at 1.68 million new homes. In 2009, we went to 358K.
Which means we had 354% decrease.
Right, of just new homes being built. And then February 2020, we had a 1.055 million. And then November 2021, it did go up to 1.173 million. So there is an increase of new homes being built. However, they're just not here right now.
Therefore, there was an increase 11.18%. But as my wife said, compared to the number of 5.5 million in that 30 years that we are behind, still we are so behind of this.
Right, just to give you some statistics that we could find on Pitt County, there was 1548 in 2006 for new homes, which was the high. In 2011, it was 296. In 2019, it went up to 625 for new homes, but we are still very low on new homes. There's new homes coming, they are building, but they are not meeting the demand. So we do have a lot of demand and not enough supply. So we just want to throw this out there because all of this does affect.
Therefore, that was our number 3 that we talk about, basically real estate price, which comes from the demand, what the population, renters, homeowners, and also supply, which is the new construction. And we told you all this statistic that we got the research for that.
Okay, so let's go to number 4, government
And
policy.
now we wanted to do number 4, which is the government policy.
So just so we give you some history on it. So 2008, there was a tax return credit you could get for $7,500 if you bought a home. In 2008, that went up to $8,000. In 2010 to 2011, it was $8,000 for the first home, $6,500 for the second home. They got rid of these incentives anymore, but the government can come back with different incentives, different ways to get people into home ownership. They do always have these policies that come up, and I can't tell you what they're going to do. We know that Biden had a plan, but it didn't pass, and now we don't know what
2021.
Right, but maybe it passes in 2022, and then there's a increase again. So we're just kind of waiting at the bit for those government policies that might or might not happen. That's prediction. Do I think it'll probably pass at this point? My prediction would probably be not, and it's probably because it's just our state.
Okay, what is your prediction?
My prediction is just unless the government actually does something, which would be amazing to help people into homes. My prediction is basically going to be that demand is going to outweigh supply. Even when those interest rates go higher, as we know, 3%, we still have all these other factors affecting our demand curve. So demand is going to still be there, and we are undersupplied. So that means that prices are going to remain high, at least for the next 5 years, I would say, until we actually get supplies under control. And then we might actually be in that lovely tune of everything being equal, which is what we all want. Stability is amazing. Well, I'm not saying about crashes, I just want stability. And that would be something I would predict, but I'm saying that's probably 5 years away.
Exactly. Therefore, the number of renters went up, the population went up, and also, which is the demand, our supply still is low. Therefore, if you look at this very clearly, you will see that's what my wife said about the prediction.
But you can tell me your predictions, because honestly, let's be honest, this is like pull out the crystal ball, and I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just giving you based on the numbers that we have. So what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? We love hearing about it. And if you're in the Greenville area, we love helping you. So again, call us.
And then we got your back because we know the market very well, and also we know the suburbs around it, and we can find you the right fit. And also, if you found this information that we provided in this video very valuable, please subscribe on our channel, and also gives us thumbs up. And thank you guys, and see you on the next video.